In this video we're going to tie a parachute pale morning dun, a pretty little mayfly that hatches in the summertime here in Colorado and all around the western United States. I'm sure there are probably species that hatch in other parts of the country as well. Here in Colorado we usually see them in late July through early September. You can see I've started the thread on a straight eye dry fly hook. I'm using a pale yellow thread from Vivus. For a tail, I like to use moose body hair. I think it works a little better on our steeper gradient, faster flowing streams here in the west. You want that tail to be roughly the length of the hook shank. I like to keep it on top as much as possible. Wrap it up to about the 2/3 point. Trim the butts. Wrap over them to about the 2/3 point on the hook shank. For my wing post, I'll use some pale yellow polypropylene yarn. Get that tied in there with a few turns. Make a few turns in front and a few turns in back. That helps lock it in place so it's not going to move forward or backward. I'm going to start posting this yarn by making turns right around the base and then start making turns of thread up that post as we go. It takes a little experience to get a feel for how much tension you can put on that post before it will bend over and all your turns pop off. But keep at it and you'll find that you get a feel for it. Here I'm just adding a little bit of thread to get a taper on that body, and I'll now add some pale morning dun colored superfine dubbing, and you can see I'm putting it on extremely thin. This example I'm tying in size 16, so you don't want the body to be fat. Our bugs' bodies are quite slim. So I'm just going to wrap that forward with touching turns until I get up to the wing post. Now I'll add the hackle, and you can see that I've already prepared this hackle ready to tie in by trimming a few of the fibers off each side of the stem. I like to do it this way rather than pulling them off, because the little stubble that's left on the stem gets caught in the thread and it makes it much more resistant to pulling out. So I'll just tie that in, and you'll see I'm going to tie it in on the side opposite from me. I like to wrap my hackle counterclockwise. And then I'm also going to add just a tiny little bit of dubbing here on the front of the hook in front of the wing shank to help meet up that diameter on the body. Now I can start wrapping the hackle, and I'll wrap up and then wrap back down. I'm going to hold this hackle straight down so it's out of the way, and I'll take my thread and I'll come up under the hackle and then come down just up over the front, under the hackle, up over the back of the fly and down, and that keeps my thread under the hackle. Come over here around that hook eye. Now you can either use your whip finisher, but I prefer to use the half hitch tool. It's just a little easier to get in there under the hackle to finish this off, and about 4 half hitches will ensure that that's nice and tight. Trim off the thread. Come in with your very scissors tips. Trim out the excess hackle, and now we'll trim the wing post to length. If you leave it too long, it has a tendency to make that fly tip over in the water and lie on its side. But if you keep it about that length, which is about the hook shank length, it'll set nice and upright. This fly works great in faster water. You can heavily hackle it like I've done here. You can do it more sparsely if you want to fish it in quieter, slower water, or even on a lake or pond. And that's it. Thanks for watching.